Hi, Alora.
Hi.
It's been a little bit of time, but
I know, yeah.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling better today. Last week was the year anniversary of like when my sister left, and I'm feeling pretty good. Something did happen last week though. I went to a concert with my other sister Sarah, and she and I went together, and then my cousin went as well, but separately. And then we thought that Rianne, my other sister that left, might be with her, but then she said she wasn't. And then at the end of the concert, she was there. And so then she surprised us. My reaction really surprised me because I have been so like good for the past few months about like not thinking about her, just kind of chillaxing, going through my life, like talking to Sarah a lot. And when I saw her, I felt really angry. Like, what now you decide to show up, like after all this time, and like when it's convenient for you, not when I asked you to go get coffee or when I asked you to hang out or anything like that. So I was really surprised that I was angry, but I guess it makes sense.
Why do you think that you were surprised to be angry?
I think just because I had been doing so well, and so just like that initial reaction of, oh, she's here, like, what the F, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I guess that was just surprising.
Yeah. And when you say doing well, like what exactly does that mean in your day-to-day life?
I haven't been thinking about Rianne too much. Sarah and I talk, but not too much, which is good because it's been a while, and I hang out with some friends. I made some new friends, so it's good.
That sounds really nice, especially for your situation.
Yeah.
I remember when we first set up our goals to like get to in therapy, and one of them was you managing your time with your friends and your sisters, like when to talk to your sisters on the phone, when to hang out with your friends, and just like kind of let your home feelings drift away and just like be present.
Yeah.
So do you think you've kind of accomplished that here lately?
I wouldn't say accomplished, just because there are some times that I'm like, I guess, trying to avoid my friends to go hang out or with my sister or like talk to her or something. So yes and no. Yeah, I definitely still think that there could be some things to work on there.
And like when you, I'm not trying to like move away from the concerts that you brought up, but like just kind of I want to explore this one little thought real quick. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So like now I've lost my train of thought. So when you are hanging out with your friends, do you feel like you're missing your sisters at all, or is it just kind of like you are present, or is there something to be like learned a little bit more, like you still need to build?
I definitely think about them a lot still. And like with this concert thing just happening now, when I hang out with my friends, I'm like constantly thinking about it and like bringing up those angry feelings. And so I feel like sometimes I don't want to hang out with my friends because I don't want to be angry around them, even though I'm not angry at them. And so that's kind of affected me the past week or so.
So the concert happening and you seeing your sister sounds like it really brought up a lot of angry feelings and maybe some things that happened in the past that really hurt you. So it's a lot of like negative feelings.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like I tried to feel positive feelings when I saw her because, you know, she's my sister and I hadn't seen her in a year, but like it was still all angry, you know?
Yeah,
and
even
like
after so much time.
yeah, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, even though I tried to like put in my mind, oh my gosh, so she's here, that's awesome, I get to see her, it was always like, she left. Like, why are you here? And it just like got me really angry and kind of like kept my mouth shut while we were interacting so that I didn't say anything mean. And so, and then Sarah totally had a different like kind of experience with her leaving because she got to say goodbye before she like moved, or she got to hang out with her or whatever, and I got ditched all the time. And so I feel like Sarah was really happy to see her, and I was not, and I hope she knows that I was not. You know, I hope that she saw it because she deserves to know that I was angry and upset. You know.
Mm-hmm. So, just from that little snippet of information, it sounds to me like you kind of put away the feelings of like missing your sister, like wanting her in your life, and now it's kind of replaced by anger.
I think so. Yeah, I feel like it's almost like I miss her so much. I'm angry at her. You know what I mean? Like, family's supposed to be there for each other, and I miss her a lot, and it just seems like she doesn't. And so, yeah, I guess that could be replaced with anger.
And how exactly like do you put the word anger together in your mind in relation to your sister?
It's kind of just like, I don't know, feeling upset, feeling manipulated, like all that kind of stuff comes together and just makes me like not only angry with her, but angry with myself for, I don't know, like missing her. Like it feels like I shouldn't miss her because she doesn't miss me, or it seems like that. And so, kind of like all those upsetting feelings can really come together and me to be angry at myself too.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you are angry at yourself for missing your sister, like even in the slightest, because she's not missing you, correct?
Yeah.
Like, can you go into that a little bit more for me?
Yeah, I think that it was really upsetting to like miss her because she wasn't missing me, and so maybe I wasn't feeling like validated at all with my feelings, and so it's like I was missing her a lot, but I was still angry with her, you know, which I feel like are kind of the same right now. You know, it's like the same emotion.
As in what you felt back then?
Yeah, like I miss her, but I'm still angry, and I feel like those two are kind of mushing together now that I just saw her last week, and so I'm kind of feeling confused about that.
Did you feel any other feelings while you saw her, like besides anger?
I mean, I was happy, like a little bit, just because you know, family is family, and it's good to see her, but not in a way where I was like striving to get to know her again and interact. Like it was mainly anger and I don't know. I guess resentment that she was kind of doing it on her own terms, you know, leaving me for a whole year.
So I'm hearing you say the words, like you were happy to see her because she is your family, and then I'm also hearing that you still have these like really negative feelings towards her, and like you just like don't really like seeing her because of the way she makes you feel. Can you like dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's true. Like I guess I'm just really confused about that too because like I guess my initial reaction is anger because like she did leave me and I'm upset about it and then she just comes back into my life like that and then I feel like it's kind of engraved in my mind that like family is family and like it doesn't matter, you'll always be family, and so I kind of feel like I have to miss her even though I don't really like what she's doing and like how she's behaving. So yeah, I guess those are kind of opposites. So
at least like from what I see, those are kind of opposites.
Yeah.
So on that note, what exactly does family mean to you, like in basic terms?
Definitely honesty. Like my family has been really open. I guess just physically being there. Like it doesn't matter if you talk about the feelings, if like you can if you want to, but just being there is support. And I think it feels really good to be around family.
Just like the general presence is very comforting to you.
Yeah, it's kind of like when babies are born and they just like want to be attached to mom all the time. It's kind of like that.
That closeness. I can see that.
Yeah.
So in that relating to Rianne, like it's just kind of not what you know, what you're used to. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like I'm seeing her as a person now, which sounds weird, but like as a person and not my family.
Yeah.
which really sucks because like she is my family and I want to treat her like that, but she's not treating me like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so why do I deserve to be hurt by family if I'm putting in the effort to try and like build a relationship again? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you have some conflicting emotions. It sounds like you really want to make things work because she is your family, but also it's like, why should you care if she doesn't care about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like she doesn't even think of me as family. She just thinks of me as some person that she hung out with for 18 years or whatever, you know. So.
And so, like, in the ideal situation, like, if you could make your relationship with your sister, like, however you really wanted it to be, what would that look like?
I mean, honestly, she would have never left. Like, if our relationship was truly really good, then she can leave my parents, and, like, obviously I'm upset for, like, my parents and that I feel for them, but the selfish side of me is, like, I didn't do anything. And so the ideal situation would be she doesn't leave me. She still talks to me. She still hangs out with me and does sisterly things and, like, keeping that family dynamic instead of what's happening, which is she left, ditched me, and then suddenly came back in like it was no problem. Like, that's not how our usual dynamic went as kids. Like, you were always there, and so
it's like a switch has kind of been flicked and
yeah,
your whole world has like been turned upside down.
Yeah, family is like not family right now. So
yeah. And this kind of brings me back to the idea of what we discussed in our last session, where Brienne was not really acting in like accordance to what you know with your peers and just family members, where you can go through something like a rough patch with one of your friends or a person in your family, and then it just kind of goes back to the way it was.
Yeah. Like, I can be friends with someone even if I argue with them.
Like, it's just it feels like you can just, the situation can go back to the way it was, and like there's no hard feelings.
Yeah, definitely.
And so in this situation, it seems pretty similar. Like, and like the overall situation with your sister, she's not really acting like what you know, what you've grown up with, to where you can just like, something big can happen and it just doesn't bounce back to the way it was.
Yeah, like I think when we talked last time about how like I'm used to things bouncing back and I'm used to things just like going back to normal and forgiving. But with Rihanna, it wasn't happening, and so I was feeling really upset about that. And yeah, I think that relating that back to like my family is really easy at forgiving. Like, doesn't matter what you did, you can just say, I understand the situation, I'm sorry, and be done with it. And I feel like her not like acting how she did for so long is really weird and makes me wonder like what happened.
Do you think the word forgiving is a word that really resonates with you?
Yeah, I think it's really important just because like things happen, you know, and lots of stuff happens, and I think it's okay to forgive even though it was something big, because if you like resolve it, it's gonna be okay because you resolved it and you can forgive them.
And what emotions come up for you when you think about that word?
Forgiveness. I definitely think like relief and, you know, happiness that I'm gonna be doing stuff with this person again, even though we just had this big fight, and like definitely stronger, because our relationship is stronger now that we've like gone through something, you know what I mean, like with anyone really. So yeah, stronger.
And with Rianne, you're kind of missing those feelings?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Just because, like, I have not forgiven her yet, but that's because she hasn't even talked to me about it. She hasn't even told me what's happened. She hasn't even, like, sat down and had a normal conversation with me so that I can say, like, hey, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move past this. She just has kind of gone her own way, not allowing any room for anything.
And unfortunately, in those situations, you just really cannot control how people act towards you, which can be hard. Like I'm hearing you want things to go back to the way they were when you were kids. Here recently, actually, like before she left, and it's just not something that's in your control. Like even though it's the ideal situation, it's something you really long for. It's just not exactly happening at the moment, and you don't know how to make it happen.
Yeah, I definitely think that, like, there are some things that I can't control, like you said, like, and like I can't control her emotions or like her actions, but I just feel like with her specifically growing up together, I thought that our, emotions and thoughts would kind of work the same. And so her having such a different dynamic, I guess, yeah, I'm kind of feeling at a loss. Like, I can't really do anything except try and talk to her, and then even then it's might be annoying or I don't know. Like, so I just kind of like tried to move past it, and then this concert thing happened. So yeah.
If you wouldn't have seen her at the concert, like how do you think you would feel?
I think I would be moving past it. Like, honestly, I was okay, and I still probably would have gotten upset if we like talked about her because it was still pretty recent, but like okay to talk about it, you know what I mean? Instead of like I can't talk without crying, like I was when it first happened, like when she ditched me. And so I think it would have been better.
And how does it feel like to you to tell me about these feelings?
It feels good. I think that talking to you really helps just because you're like an outside perspective, and I'm not talking to my mom or my dad about it, and I'm not talking to Sarah or like anyone who's kind of emotionally invested. And so it's nice to be told like you don't have control. Like I really appreciate that honesty, and I feel like it's kind of put me in my place. In a good way. In a good way, yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like I'm glad that you feel comfortable talking to me about it. It probably allows you to explore more feelings about the whole situation. So yeah. There was one thing you said that I wanted to mention in this last sentence. So let's dive into. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was doing so good. Yeah, you go.
I've been feeling kind of bad for my mom lately, just because, like, she's really upset and she keeps thinking like, or she keeps saying to me like, I think about her every day. I think about her every day, and that like, I can't even imagine what she's going through, and that just kind of makes me feel really bad for her. Because I think she has it worse than I do. Like, I'm just getting ditched by my sister, but she's like being disowned by her daughter, which I think really sucks. And like I try to be there for her, but she's still just really upset.
And do some of your mother's feelings kind of resonate with you?
Definitely when we're talking about them, for sure. Like when she sits there and tries to explain to me like what maybe happened in Rianne's mind, or like how she feels about it, I definitely get really empathetic, and makes me sad for the rest of the day, just because like that's my mom and I don't want her to feel upset. And so
do like when you watch your mom go through these like parts of her day where she's just feeling really sad, like does it make you think about how Brienne has treated kind of the whole family in a sense?
Yeah. I think that when she was a kid, she was kind of aggressive towards my parents, like always in arguments and like always fighting back. And she's the older child and so she's in charge and all that stuff. But I feel like now her leaving is just kind of like this big whirlwind that represents her whole childhood, like her being a troublesome child and being mean to my parents. And so now I feel like my mom is like already taken that her whole like growing up, and now she has to kind of live without it, which is upsetting.
And like, how exactly do you feel about like you? How do you feel about your sister like putting your parents through the situation when family is such a big like thing for you?
Yeah, I don't understand like where she got it from. Like family has been always so important to us, and I could be remembering it wrong, but I thought that she shared those values, and so I'm feeling like our whole childhood relationship is like a phony, a fake, because I thought that we shared the same values. I thought that we shared, the same family, and now she's just kind of like pushing my parents away and totally going against everything that we learned as kids. And so that's just kind of, it's really weird, and I don't understand anything about her right now.
To me, the word like inconsistency comes to mind. How does that feel to you?
I definitely think that's accurate. With our family, I also feel like she's very consistent, but like the dynamic I think is very inconsistent right now, just because everyone's upset and then happy, and then she remembers, and then she's upset, and all that stuff. But I think Rianne's behavior has kind of always been like this. But not this extreme, like never like, I don't want to be your family anymore. So.
And you might not have this much intel about the situation, but do you like have any idea why she decided to leave?
She told my parents that they took her childhood away by so she is Native American, and my mom was married to someone, had her, and then he died. And then my mom met my dad and had me and Sarah, and so Rianne's a half sibling. And yeah, she told him that they took her childhood away, like from the Native American side, even though they did a lot of Native American traditions as kids. And then when Rianne decided she didn't want to anymore, they didn't. And so I feel like she's like pushing the blame on my parents for that, but really it's her fault for not wanting to go to those things. So my parents say it's because she does drugs, but I don't think I've ever seen her do any drugs in her life. So I don't know. But then again, I'm younger, so she probably does stuff behind my back.
Yeah. And yeah, but I only ask because I like want to be like knowledgeable of the situation, just so you know. I mean, we don't know entirely what Rianne is thinking, like in terms of why she left, why she continues to stay away, but it's always good to like possibly think about why she did these things, especially from your point of view. It would probably like make you feel better about the situation. Does that sound right? Like kind of thinking about it?
Yeah, I feel like if I thought about like her perspective, my perspective might cloud it a little bit. But I guess if I was thinking about like her feelings and why
you're fine.
And why she left, it would be like, they took my childhood away, and I don't want to. But see, I don't understand that. Like, but I don't want to be your kid anymore. Like, how can you just get rid of literally your whole life like that and just like go somewhere else and make a new life.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard for me to think of it as her perspective.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're not entirely sure of what she is going through right now, and that kind of, it sounds really confusing.
Yeah, I think it is, for sure.
Especially from my point of view, just like you trying to explain it to me is, you're not really sure about what's going on.
Yeah, like I know the facts and like our family history and all that stuff, but she's just confusing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very confusing.
And how does that make you feel, knowing that you're not really sure about what's going through her head?
I mean, it honestly makes me feel better about myself just because I do know what's going on in my life and I like have that control. And when I try and think about her and her inconsistency and stuff like that, it kind of stresses me out.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to like figure out what happened, and I guess it's not like my burden to figure out what happened, but it would be nice to know.
I mean, like, it has affected you very much. So, I feel like from your point of view, it would help you to know what was going on, especially with what we mentioned before about you kind of just like accepting it and like feeling better when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, I think so. That it would like help me if I knew, just because right now, like with accepting it and with kind of just like feeling better and moving on, I'm just like forgetting about it instead of actually dealing with it, which is okay. Like I'm okay with that, but then again, it's always there instead of like dealing with it and actually being able to move on.
And how exactly would you be able to like deal with it?
I would love for her to tell me what happened, but she hasn't sat down with me long enough, except for at the concert, to actually tell us what happened, and I don't even think she would, like, if we asked her, just because, like, that's her business, and, like, I don't know.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think that this feeling of like not knowing really kind of resonates with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's something very large that has impacted your life, and you not knowing makes you just like very unhappy and like unsure. That sound right?
Definitely unsure. Like, unknowing is scary, I think, to a lot of people, and so being so close with her and like her being my family, not knowing like where she is, what she's doing, and like what she's thinking and stuff like that, I think is definitely scary. Especially because, like, what if something happened to her and she's not in contact with her family, so we won't even know, like, if she like had a heart attack or like got hit by a car or like all that bad stuff. Like, we wouldn't know because she's not in contact with us.
From my point of view, it kind of seems like although she has like abandoned the family and like just kind of brushed you guys off for a very long time, it seems to me like you still really care about her and what she's doing, how she's doing.
She's still family.
And family is a very big thing to you.
Yeah.
So again, unfortunately, like there's no easy way to get her to tell you why she left, why she's doing these things. So from your point of view, how do you think you can make yourself, well, not exactly make yourself, what are some ways to make you feel better about the situation? Like, is the idea of kind of just not having it as a present concern in your life sound good so that way you like. I'm sorry, my words are like jumbling together. What I'm basically trying to say is like, because she is not present in your life, do you think that is a good thing for you? Or do you think that, like, taking the problem head on is, like, a better thing?
I honestly think it could go both ways. Like, I think if she never spoke to me again, I would eventually definitely get over it and live my life and be totally okay. But I also feel like if she just keeps, like, popping in and I'm not getting this, like, head-on direct confrontation with her, it could also be problematic. But I don't know. I would love to talk to her about it, you know, and I would love to just say, like, what the hell happened, you know. So I can see it both ways.
And, like, thinking about both of those things, they are kind of, like, on different ends of the spectrum. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I'm stuck in the middle of the spectrum right now, like trying to move on, but then she's coming back into my life, and so I'm not really sure, like, which end to go to, especially because, like, she's being so unpredictable right now, and, like, I don't know, like, that uncertainty that we were talking about, and, like, unknown, and so I'm just feeling stuck until one of those kind of comes along and is closer than the other one, you know.
And I heard you use the word, like, stuck. What exactly does that mean for you?
Kind of just not knowing, like, where to go from here. Like, do I wait for her to come to me? Do I try and pursue her more? Or do I just kind of let it go and not talk to her even if she talks to me? Like, there's two opposite ends that I don't know which one to follow, like, what my action should be.
And, like, not being in control of the situation, like that one end of the spectrum where you really want to know what's going on, but you really you don't know, like, how to, like, get her to speak to you. That, like, lack of control, how does that make you feel?
I guess just really, like, weary and nervous. Because, like, anything could happen and I wouldn't be able to do anything, you know, like, she could quite literally not talk to me for years. And I would have no control over that. And so that makes me, like, really anxious, but, yeah. But then she could be really unpredictable and, like, come back into our lives again, and that would, I think, still affect me in a bad way just because of the year that has been going on.
And, like, the word control, like, it seems to be coming up in this conversation a lot from you and from me. Is that, like, a key word in this situation, would you say?
I definitely think so. I feel like my whole life I've been able to like, control my own life. And I don't want to say, like, I don't think I've manipulated people and, like, controlled them, but I feel like my actions has kind of, like, encouraged others to, like, be around me and be with me, like, or not, you know, whatever my actions may be. And so I feel like me trying to do something or not do something isn't really affecting her at all.
Yeah. So, could you tell me a little bit more about, like, how your actions have kind of just, like, determined other people's actions in the past, like what you mentioned in the beginning?
Yeah, I feel like I'm usually very nice and very kind and welcoming, I think, and by controlling my actions like that, people want to be around me, people want to be my friend, and therefore want to forgive me or want me to forgive them if we have a squabble or something like that. And so I feel like it's always kind of started with how I'm acting. And me trying to, like, talk to her and be nice to her and, like, try and pursue Rianne isn't really doing the same as it would, like, one of my friends. You know what I mean? So it's just really different.
Yeah. And so, like, her not going with what you know has been kind of a really big thing in this entire situation.
That's my ringtone.
That wakes me up all the time.
Okay.
That was good.